Today we start reading the prophet Ezekiel, and we're going to find this book pretty mental. There's some crazy, or you've already seen some of the crazy images that we're going to come across. Ezekiel was a prophet who lived at the time that the Israelites were in exile, and he lived in Babylon. So he's there in the middle of Babylon with the other exiles, which is why he says in the first verse, "While I was among the exiles by the river Chebar, the heavens were opened, and I saw visions of God." And we're going to hear about the visions. The first vision opens up with these four living creatures with different types of faces, and there's all this stuff about how incredible they are. But really, one of the things the point this is making is that these guys are just the attendants of the one who sits on this throne made of sapphire, this radiant figure of glory, and he's the central figure, and it's contemplating and understanding him that the whole of this book is about. And God is commissioning Ezekiel to go to the people of Israel, and it constantly says, as you've seen when you read it, that he's going to go to a stubborn people, a rebellious people, a people that may or may not listen to what he has to say. But his job and the thing he's to focus on is to communicate to them the things that God has given him to say. And so the whole symbol of the scroll that's got the words of lament and kind of woe on them is Ezekiel's to take those words and he's to distribute them to the people of Israel. But also the symbol of him eating the scroll and finding it as sweet as honey is that it's not just that Ezekiel has to tell the people of Israel what God has said, it's that he also has to receive what God has said for himself. And for us, as followers of Jesus, I just think there's so many parallels here for things we could learn. And that one big one is just that we are commissioned, we're called to tell people about Jesus with our words. We're to do that with our lives as well. Of course, we're to love people and we're to witness to them in every way possible. We're to be good news, not just talk about good news. At the same time, we are to use our words to communicate the truth of God and the goodness of God to the people around us. We're to tell them about Jesus, about the fact that he died on a cross, and because of that, they can know freedom and they can know life and they can know salvation. And there's this bit about the accountability of the watchman where it talks about how if Ezekiel keeps his mouth shut, he'll be held accountable. That shouldn't be something that I think scares us. Ultimately, our motivation for evangelism should be the love of God. Oh my word, I've just discovered this incredible thing. Have you heard about God? He's amazing. He's real. At the same time, I do think it should be something that gives us pause for thought, that we have, each of us, responsibility to communicate to the people that we know and we love, and even to those we just come into contact with every now and then. We have a responsibility to tell them about the truth of God and the goodness of God. We receive the scroll that is the good news of God. We digest it into our souls, but then also God gives us that command to speak it out to the people around us.